cameras are not allowed in federal courtrooms, and that's why you need a BFF like the Noon has a BFF in Meghann Cuniff. We call her Meghann the Reporter. She's one person who was following this trial very, very closely. She's on top of everything since day one, and now she joins us live to give us a little bit of a breakdown. Meghann, always good to see you. How are you?
Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Listen, I don't know if at the end of, a very long and storied career, there's a book coming out of this, but you have a front row seat to some of the most amazing trials. And I say amazing, meaning just gripping the nation. And we're all following you on TikTok and on X because you give the best updates as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, there are a lot of big trials going on, and Diddy's trial is really special because we don't have cameras in the courtroom. So we are all clamoring to know what is going on minute by minute in there.
Okay, so if you can catch us up, what is the latest for people who have maybe just dipped their toe in and out, because it does seem like there's so much to keep track of. There's something new every day. Catch us up to this point.
It's a really big moment today and yesterday because it's the second alleged victim in the indictment who took the stand. We've heard so much about Cassie, and so much of the case is really centered around her. But we're now hearing from another woman who says that she worked for Diddy and, as you said earlier, as the reporter said earlier, was attacked by him many times. So we're hearing some pretty harrowing testimony right now. And his lawyer, Brian Steele, is going to get into the cross-examination. But it's been pretty graphic testimony from a woman who really has not sought the spotlight at all.
We have heard a lot about the testimony, but on social media, people who are also following the trial also talk a lot about Diddy's legal team. And they say that it's a very strong team and they're doing what they would classify as a very good job and that they're being very tough. Can you speak to that? What are your thoughts on how lacrosse goes?
He has a lot of lawyers up there, and they all have their roles. And yes, there have been some tough cross-examinations. Kind of the key in a case like this is an overall narrative, giving the jury a reason to want to acquit Sean Combs and to see that. And we've seen a lot of different methods on cross-examination and a lot of trying to discredit reports about violence. But remember, the overall story is his defense does admit that there was violence in the relationship and that he committed domestic violence. So a lot of the times they're trying to discredit reports of violence, but then overall they're still admitting that violence occurred.
Can we bring Kid Cudi into this? Because I felt that was one of the shocking moments of the week as well, hearing his testimony. And again, you want to say, oh, there's no violence or just this violence that you saw. But what Kid Cudi had to say also could absolutely shape a jury's opinion.
Yes, and Kid Cudi's testimony is, I think, what prosecutors are really hoping will show jurors that this is more than just a relationship and typical problems that you might see between a boyfriend and a girlfriend, that this was a controlling, powerful man who went out of his way to not only hurt and control Cassie, but to try to control and hurt those around him, around her.
Does it seem that what we're hearing out of this trial is more damaging to Diddy's character, or does it feel like the prosecution is actually making their case? When you talk about racketeering, human trafficking, those have very specific legal definitions. So even though we've seen this terrible domestic violence video and we're hearing some of these very scary stories of the way that women say that they were made to feel around him, that's not necessarily what this case is supposed to be about.
Right. It's an organized crime case, and it's really a case of, does a powerful person like Sean Combs do his attempts to use his employees and his companies to facilitate his crimes? Does that rise to the level of organized crime like we see with the mafia? And I think prosecutors are really hoping that jurors pay close attention to the employee's testimony and realize that this was not a normal employee relationship. Mia has testified that she was a personal assistant for a comedian before she worked for Sean Combs, and she might get the occasional early morning call, or she might have to take care of his dog on the weekend. But her life with Sean Combs was completely different than that.
Okay, we have to leave it right there, but I know that people want to follow you directly to get their information. So where can we find you, Meghann?
LegalAffairsandTrials.com is my website, and I've got links to a lot of trial coverage on there. And you can also find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all the socials, also Blue Sky.
You are everywhere, and we hope to see you again here soon on The Noon next week, perhaps. We'll pencil you in.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Always.